Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Tracy Gibbs, Chief Science Officer for LifeWise. Let's get started tonight. I've got quite a bit of content to cover, but I want to talk about your health, and I want to talk about ways to develop good health. Tonight's training isn't so much about a particular supplement. I don't want to focus on any one supplement. I want to focus on good supplements, good nutrition. But really what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you all some tips that I've learned throughout my health journey that can bring you health and ultimately even happiness, I would think. So that's what we're going to go over tonight. My wife was the one who inspired me for the topic tonight, because as I was kind of pondering what I should speak about, she's like, well, why don't you talk about the conversation we had while we were on the cruise? My wife and I were laying there late on the last night of the cruise. We weren't really tired. We couldn't really go back to sleep. And so we just had this really great conversation. And the conversation was about some of the things we had witnessed on the cruise. But what my wife and I were particularly talking about that night was about the differences in the types of people that we saw on the cruise and what kind of choices led people to live or suffer the consequences of their choices. During this cruise, obviously, we saw a lot of people that were older than us, because that's kind of the, the lifestyle of people who retire, I guess, as they go on lots of cruises. And we got to see people who were dragging around their oxygen tanks and see people who had to be carted along in their little carts. They didn't appear to be too much older than Michelle and I. I'm only going off of observation. Obviously, I don't know everybody's individual circumstances. I mean, if there were people who were in wheelchairs because of automobile accidents or some other type of event in their life or tragedy in their life that caused them to be that way, I'm not judging anybody, and I'm not here to judge anybody. But as we were on board this ship, we saw a lot of people who were suffering from health issues. And you know what? During this cruise, I think every optional tour we went on, every excursion we went on, and even while we were sitting around at the poolside or in the jacuzzi or whatnot, we were all talking to people about the LifeWise products and how they could transform their lives. In fact, I have no doubt there's going to be at least 4 to 6 people enrolled in LifeWise from this cruise. And it just is a testament, I guess, of number one, how much we believe in the products, but number two, how many people are suffering out there and how many people need products like this. My first comment was like, we're so lucky to where we were able to be out there on the dance floor, dancing away to this music with literally surrounded by a bunch of 20-year-olds. None of them had any clue that we were in our 50s, and playing basketball on the cruise with some of these kids in their 20s. I love the fact that I'm lucky enough to have the body and the lifestyle where I can do these type of things, right? I use the phrase lucky. My wife was like, honey, there's no luck about this. I mean, first of all, praise be to God that we haven't had major injuries or accidents or things like that. And she said, but you also need to take in consideration how much you and I think about what we do every day in terms of taking care of our health. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you got a point. And we started talking about the little lifestyle choices that we've made during our short, only 11 years of marriage. And then the choices that we had made prior to our marriage that had life-changing effects on our life. And we kind of narrowed it down to like 5 little things that ended up being big as we got older. And I want to share those 5 things with you tonight. Some of you may know a couple of these principles because I've talked about them before, but it never hurts to reiterate these principles. By the way, as I share these principles, I'm going to back them up with some studies and statistics and things like that out there so that you can get an idea that what I'm saying is not just my ideas and me spouting off opinions, but that there's some actual studies and facts behind what I'm going to say. If you want to avoid being a statistics, like these disease statistics of, 38 million people who have diabetes in our country right now, and the almost 1 million people who die of heart disease every year, and another 680,000 who die of cancer every year. And I know I'm spouting these statistics off casually. I don't mean to do that at all. It is catastrophic to think that literally there's over 1.8 million people every year who die from 100% completely preventable diseases in our country. Heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Not in that order. It's saddening and it's sickening to think that our system has developed into this economy and lifestyle where these are the predominant killers. And yet nobody covers the nearly 2 million US citizens who die every year from completely preventable diseases. So if you don't want to be a statistic, I want you to write down these 5 things. Write them in the comment, put them up on your refrigerator, stick them on your bathroom mirror, anywhere you can, because these are the things that changed my life, the things that have changed Michelle's life, and they're little tiny things, you guys. Doing them for 20 or 30 years is going to make a huge difference in your life. Number 1, this is simple. It's not complicated. Natural versus artificial. You would think this is common sense, but it's not. And nobody thinks about it when you're grocery shopping. You need to start thinking about it when you're grocery shopping. You need to start reading the ingredients. You need to start looking at the different types of food coloring in there. And you need to start finding food instead of chemicals. If you're my age, 50 years or older, I'm 55, you all know how to make bread because your mom probably grew up making it or your grandma made it for you or whatever. Bread's like what? 4, possibly 5 ingredients. So when you go to the grocery store and you buy a loaf of bread and it's got a paragraph long ingredient list, why are you buying it? Why? You can't even pronounce some of those ingredients. So why are you doing it? When you pick up a can of green beans, what's supposed to be in it? Green beans and water. Maybe a little bit of salt, because that's how my grandma used to can things. She'd put green beans, add a little salt, and pressure steam it. And yet, that's not what in your canned green beans anymore. You shouldn't even be eating green beans in a can when you can buy them in the produce section. Okay, that's food. So when I say natural versus artificial, it's the little daily choices. Something simple, but it's something you should consider. We know because there are studies out there that show the effects of your poor choices. I'm going to read one for you right now. Aspartame. Do you guys know what aspartame is? Almost any of your gums that you buy, just impulse buy, when you're in the grocery store line. Look in the back of them. In fact, there's actually a warning on the back of them. It says, warning, this product contains phenylalanine neutronics. It contains phenylalanine, which blocks certain brain functions. The ingredient name is called aspartame. It's an artificial sweetener. And so if your product says sugar-free, 99% of the time it's going to contain aspartame. And aspartame right here in the Journal of Neuropathic Medicine, 1996, November 5. So we've known about this for a long time. Aspartame and links to increasing brain tumor rates. And then the question is, does aspartame increase brain tumor rates? And then it was a clinical study comparing over 760, what's called a meta-analysis, comparing several hundred clinical studies. This was conducted by J.W. Onley, Dr. Farber, Dr. Spitznagel, linking aspartame to brain tumors. There's also studies showing it's linked to dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. And yet it's in anything that's sugar-free. And how many of you buy something that's sugar-free because you think it's healthy for you? If you're diabetic, you want to stay away from sugar is what you're told. So you go buy something with sugar-free. Well, do you want to die of diabetes or do you want to die from a brain tumor? Take your pick. Fortunately, you have other choices because a little bit of sugar isn't going to hurt you that much. And I'd rather have you have half a gram of sugar in your chewing gum than aspartame. So step 1, start looking at natural versus artificial. Start reading ingredients. If it reads like a chem lab project, avoid it. All right. Number 2, it's a rule that I instigated when I became a single father. I was kind of appalled at how much sugar my boys were consuming. When my divorce happened and I found myself basically with my boys full time, they had developed some habits that I wasn't aware of. You can't really cut them cold turkey because they rebel. And they're going to sneak it at their friend's house, or they're going to sneak by it at the grocery store when you're not watching, or things like that. So I just made up a rule. I gave them a great big shopping cart and we went to the grocery store and I said, you guys go pick out anything you want to eat, anything. Load up your shopping cart. I don't care if it's hot dogs, donuts, Twinkies, whatever you want, put it in the shopping cart. And yeah, the grocery bill sucked. We took all those carts, we put them on the top shelf of the pantry at home. And I said, boys, here's the rule. You guys can eat any of this stuff on Sunday if you eat what I want you to eat the rest of the week. So Monday through Saturday, you eat my way, and on Sunday, you can eat your way. And we called it the Soda Pop Sunday rule. And because the boys participated in it and because they got to fill their shopping carts with whatever they wanted, they were 100% on board. I remember catching Nathan. He was my 4-year-old, almost 5 at the time. He had the pantry door open and he was just staring at the top shelf. It was like sneak peeking your Christmas items, you know. He couldn't wait till Sunday to get his hands on some of that stuff. And we did. We ate healthy that entire week. Sunday morning, it was like Christmas morning. I slept in. The boys woke up early. I come out into the kitchen and my middle son, who's a chocoholic, had Cocoa Pebbles with chocolate milk. And he had taken little bits of ding dongs and had broken the ding dongs into it. So it was and he called it like the triple chocolate delight. That's what he was having for breakfast that morning. They were all sick by like 10 a.m. They had sugar coma. It was a horrible day for them all after that initial 1 or 2 hours of fun in the morning. But then we went back to eating healthy Monday through Saturday. Interesting thing happened, you guys. Interesting thing. The second Saturday, they ate about half as much junk food as they did on the first Saturday. What was happening was that their bodies were coming off of the sugar addiction. 6 days of eating healthy and 1 day of eating bad, they stopped craving the bad stuff. By week 3, they forgot about Soda Sunday. And of course, I wasn't going to mention that it was Soda Sunday. And, you know, I asked them what they want for breakfast and they all told me what they wanted, scrambled eggs and bacon and things like that. And I'm sitting there cooking the eggs on the third Sunday, knowing that there's a bucket load of junk food in the top shelf of the pantry, but also knowing that my sons had forgotten about that. Now, of course, there were other times where they remembered, but the Soda Pop Sunday rule stuck. And we followed that rule for like 5 or 6 years and it was great. And what happened was my children acquired a taste for vegetables and a taste for natural foods. The principle of the rule is this: good health is what you do most of the time, not some of the time. I was willing to let my kids feast on candy 1 day a week, as long as I knew that they were eating healthy 6 days a week. Our bodies are miraculous. They can detoxify. They can handle temporary crappy food, but they can't handle it every single day. You will develop diseases. Of course, when we're talking about sugar, according to the CDC, 38.4 million people of all ages, almost 12% of the US population has diabetes. 12% of our population is diabetic. And again, when I read that stat, it just gave me chills. It's freaking nuts. It's pretty amazing what happens when you cut out carbs and you start focusing on good health. I'm not going to say carbs. Cut out empty carbs. Focus on nutrient-dense ingredients. Pretty soon your body stops craving the junk and starts craving nutrient density. You guys, I crave fuel. My body craves this. And by the way, when I was on the cruise, I bought some dark chocolate. One of the things we got to do as a team is we got to skin the cacao beans and then see how they're ground. In fact, I think it was Ronnie and Michelle took their turn at kind of grinding the cacao beans and added some powdered sugar and some cocoa butter and we made little tiny bites of chocolate for ourselves. But then that same place sold some of that chocolate in bulk and I bought a great big chocolate bar from them. I took a little square of my chocolate bar, threw it in the blender, dumped this in it, threw some water and oat milk in there, and oh my gosh, it was the best chocolate shake I've ever had, okay? Your body will start to crave good nutrition when you get off of the junk food, okay? I don't care if you do it 1 day a week, or I will admit, on the cruise, we all overate. I was talking to Rob and Greg, and we were all saying the same thing. This is a cruise. It's a vacation time. We're going to do this. But we all were eating healthy before, and we're all eating healthy afterwards now. In fact, I've been really focusing on eating healthy because of how much food I ate on the cruise. Your body can handle some of the time. Good health is what you do most of the time, all right? Number 3 rule, walk versus ride. I deliberately park at the far end of the parking lot. Unless I'm in a supreme hurry. It's like the only time. And if you just pull right in, park, and walk to the store, which is usually less than 100 yards, You're in the store faster than the guy who was in front of you who's still weaving up and down the rows trying to find a close parking spot. Okay? Walk versus ride. And I mean that in all aspects of life, not just in your vehicle. Go for a walk 30 minutes a day. And as you get healthier, make that a brisk walk. I don't care if you start jogging. I don't care if you do little sprints in between. But you guys, a 30-minute brisk walk is the best thing for your health, the best exercise ever. And I know if Becca's watching or any other of our fitness experts that I call on sometimes to help educate you guys, they'll agree. Now, if you want to build muscle, of course, there's other exercises you can do. If you want to build massive cardio, there's other exercises you can do. But for general overall health and well-being, a brisk 30-minute walk daily is the best thing for you, okay? Step number 4, the 3-color rule. Many of you maybe have heard me talk about the 3-color rule before, but that is basically looking at your plate, or when you're selecting items to put on your plate, you want at least 3 colors on your plate. Colors are our antioxidants. They are our immune boosters. Colors represent the phytochemicals or the phytonutrients that are found in our foods. Have you ever looked at a ripe broccoli and it's got that blue hue to it? Purple cabbages are also blue. I've talked to you guys about this experiment before. If you don't believe me, if you think it's purple, you're wrong. Take a purple cabbage, chop it up, stick some of that in a white bowl, pour water in it, put it in your sink, let it soak overnight. When you wake up in the morning, you will have blue water, not purple water. It's so cool because they're indoles. Purples are cyanidins, like purple grapes. They're proanthocyanidins. The yellows and reds are carotenoids like lycopene, in your watermelon, your tomatoes and things like that. All of these different phytochemicals. When I was in the depth of studying phytochemicals and phytonutrients, it was difficult for me to eat colors without naming the phytochemical. Like when I was eating broccoli, I'm like, oh, I'm getting my indoles for the day. And if I was munching on a tomato, I'm like, here goes my lycopene. And it helped me remember the names of each of the different phytochemicals. Name the fruit, I can name the phytochemical. I want you guys to get that way too. So as you're eating, make sure your plate has at least 3 colors, because those colors are what make you healthy in the long run. You don't maybe see immediate effects, but over time, it'll be a huge, small little decision you can do that will have huge repercussions, good consequences in the future. Lastly, so 3-color rule, step number 4. Step number 5, and then we'll end it here. This is about emotions, you guys. And it's something I struggled with for years. I did not know how to express emotions well. If somebody hurt me or I felt emotionally hurt or wounded or criticized, I would go to 2 or 3 different areas. I would either close down and avoid, or I would attack and anger. There's a great book out there called Hurt People, Hurt People. Emotions affect your physical health. Before podcasts were a thing, I did a series of lectures around the country, and it was a 5-part lecture, and one of the parts was called Emotions in Your Health. And I found studies that actually linked like emotions like jealousy and envy to liver conditions, anger and pride to heart conditions. Fear were mental disorders, would lead to like anxiety and seizures and things like that. There are physical manifestations when you hold in feelings. There's another great book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. It's a book that teaches you how to in a healthy way express your emotions. You guys, do not hold on to anger. Don't be offended. One of the biggest issues we have in our country nowadays is people take offense so easily. Why can't we just have a simple conversation with each other? I can express my opinions and you can express yours. Why would you get angry at my opinions instead of reasoning and saying, well, look, I respect your opinion, but my experience has taught me a different opinion. Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, share your experience with me. I used to be anti a lot of things that I'm no longer anti anymore. I used to be pro a lot of things that I'm no longer pro anymore because I took the time to listen to other people's experiences, and then I would reason with myself and understand them and sometimes my opinions ended up being right and sometimes their opinions ended up being right. Guys, nobody's perfect. Now, there are some true principles and truth never does change. And I think a lot of things we've gotten away from those true principles nowadays. But that doesn't mean we need to get angry about it. And doesn't mean we need to have fear about it and live in fear. Either way, these emotions need to be not only checked, but also expressed. Expressing your emotions in a healthy and safe way, learning how to express emotions will help prevent disease manifestations in the future. So these 5 tips, you guys. Number 1, natural versus artificial. Soda pop sundaes. Walk versus ride. 3-color rule. And expressing emotions in a healthy way. Accepting other people's emotions for what they are and not taking offense. These are 5 healthy principles that can make a huge difference in your life. More so than whether you drink alcohol or not. More so than whether you choose to use aluminum deodorants or not. I think these 5 things are crucial to a healthy life. A broken lifestyle needs a crutch, just like a broken leg might need crutches to help you get around. The crutches for me are dietary supplements. They're the products that I take because of my bad choices. You better believe I was taking a lot of our products when I was on the cruise. I was taking this product like double the dose every day. I was taking Shield like 3 strips a day because we were in different countries and touching different things and eating different kinds of foods. I was on Restore every night because I was living on the cruise. I was living a broken lifestyle. Okay. Watch my video, Ingredients Matter. Watch why it's important to choose good supplements. At LifeWise, I believe, my opinion, don't take offense, we've got the best supplements in the world. I believe we do. And I will happily express that opinion and argue that opinion in a reasonable way with someone who wants to express why they think their supplement is better than ours. But choosing a good supplement when you have a broken lifestyle is crucial. If supplements are the crutch for our lifestyle, you guys, drugs are the amputation or the surgery. They should be the last resort. If you're on a myriad of prescriptions, talk to your doctor and see, number 1, are they all absolutely necessary? And can they be replaced by a supplement? And if they can, do it. Get off those drugs. That's just like you having surgery every single day. It's the absolute extreme to try to save your life is resort to drugs. But if it's health that you're trying to obtain, drugs will never make you healthy. There is not one drug out there that will make you healthy. Name one. Prove me wrong. But there are supplements out there that can make you healthier and put you on that road to health. Lastly, good health is a journey, not a destination. Everything we've been talking about today, you guys, is all about making good daily choices every single day because good health is a journey. I'm not there yet. I'm still traveling that path to good health. And that's why it's not a destination. I guess you can say you arrived at your destination if you die when you're 112 and in good health. But it really is a journey, just like poor health is a journey. The only problem or difference between good health and poor health is poor health does have a destination and it usually ends in a disease-related death. I was telling my daughter just the other day when we were talking about sin. Yes, I'm not going to get religious now, but we are talking about why even take the first step? Why play with fire, right? If you know something's bad for you, why even go for it? Why even take that first step in that direction? Make your decisions in life with the end in mind. And I'm going to end it on this sentence. What do you want to do with the rest of your life forever? That one word at the end of that sentence changes that entire sentence. If you believe that our soul is eternal, then what do you want to do with your life forever? Make your decisions with that end in mind. And I'll end things there tonight, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you next week here in the lab with Dr. Tracy Gibbs. Talk to you later. Bye.